Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org with a video tutorial for the new Boston. Now, as you can see here, I have a form field that is actually just a password field, so I can type in some values in here. And obviously, as you would expect from a password field in HTML, the characters are starred out, or you have these little circles here that just represent each character. Now, what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is creating this little show password box, and this will apply for all password elements that you create on a page. So for example, let's go ahead and just duplicate this password field here. We'll just pop a line break after it and then a new password field. So we can have sort of like as many password fields as we want. So this will sort of globally attach to all input types or input fields that have a type of password. So I can go ahead and I can type in a password in here, and then I can use this checkbox to actually show the password in plain text. I can then go ahead and check that back out and make it return to its hidden value. So I can then go ahead and type it in here as well and do exactly the same thing. So depending on obviously how many password fields you have on your page, or just use this as sort of like a global JavaScript file, this will automatically create this checkbox. You can see that on my main page I don't actually have this checkbox present because our JavaScript file will handle all of that for us. So it's an interesting theory that you'd want a show password box next to a password field in order to let the user show the password that they're currently typing or have typed. And it's becoming more common to allow people to show their passwords. Different things, different scenarios. People might want to be able to see their password if they're creating a particularly long password or something that they need to, say, paste in and double check. This is a really nice feature that you can add globally across your page to ensure this works with all fields. So we're going to be going ahead and creating this code, but obviously the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and set up our password field, because there's a few important things we need to talk about in that area. So let's go over to our text editor and start from scratch and start to create this functionality. Okay, so over to our text editor. Obviously the first thing that we want to go ahead and do is actually create our password fields. So let's go ahead and use input type equals password, and obviously this is important because this will only work with input fields that have the type password. Obviously you don't want to give this functionality to plain text or an email field, for example, or anything else like that, because none of the others hash or star out the password. Now when we create our input field, it will work with just this functionality like this. So it will work if you were to just go ahead and type input type equals password. However, we need to take into account that when we do this, that we're actually in jQuery going to replace this input field altogether with a text type. So what we're doing is the process involves getting rid of this field and then creating a new field, but this time with a type of text. And the reason I'm explaining this beforehand is because if we were to have a password field with, for example, an ID of something and a class of something, and we'll obviously need to give it a name as well, because this is how you would if this belonged to a form, this would be how you'd read in that variable, the variable value associated with the password. So you might have a name for this as well, and a variety of other attributes as well. And what we're going to be doing is when we replace this, we're going to need to replace each attribute, because it's going to remove the password field and create a new text one, and this is how we switch between it. There's no easy way to show the characters inside of the field unless you create or delete the password field and then give the value, the same password value, to a text field. So that's how we're going to do it. That's the only way that we can actually do it. Like I said, there's no feature that we can use to, unhide a password. It's not that easy. In the example I showed you, it looked easy and instant, but in actual fact, it involves replacing this input field altogether. So now that we have this ID, class, and name, I'll leave it like that because obviously that just demonstrates, the fields, or the attributes that we want to go ahead and get, and then put them back in when we replace this. So a password field looks like this on a page. It's not much, it's just literally a password field. Obviously the content of it is hidden. I've created a JavaScript file called ext.js, which I've included on my page, as well as jQuery. So we're going to be writing all of our jQuery code in ext.js. There's no more code required for this index.php page. That's it. We're going to allow ext.js to handle the insertion of the checkbox